All right, welcome in everybody to episode number what, Tanner?
100. God damn, man. You done pixelated the damn audio. I got to go back and fix that. Ooh,
Episode
100.
Episode 100 of the Philly Experience podcast. Now, listen, I want to just think about for a second. I mean, look how far we've come. Recap everything that we've gone through in the past, 2+ years at this point, maybe, and all the things we've seen in Philadelphia sports, all the things we've seen around the world. Let's just bring back some memories here. First, you had the Bryce Harper. That was probably the first big fish that happened for us.
Yes.
Coming to Philadelphia. What a crazy day. I remember that rainy day in the Monco studios.
Yeah, I also remember me looking like a fool.
Well, listen, to you, at this point, we'll get into the MVP season that Bryce is having, but at that moment in time, I couldn't have been any more happy to have Bryce in Philly.
Yeah, Phillies were garbage. And
6-0, the JT Romito came. I mean, we were sitting in class. Obviously you started it, you and Chris.
Yep.
We tagged along because you guys needed some good-looking faces to hop on the show with you guys.
Some good-looking faces.
So we had a
Max, let's be honest, they were gone without us.
Yeah.
Oh, we were gone without you?
The entertainment purposes are here, and that's what we're here for. But I know there was an Eagles game last weekend that was pretty frustrating to watch, and I just wanted to let everybody know how thankful we are to just be able to do this. It's just so much fun, taking a step out for about an hour each week, of our lives, with you working, Tanner and I, with so much competitiveness with school and everybody just, trying to get to the top of the mountain. So it's cool to just sit back and be able to have some fun and just chat about sports for this hour and just chill, roof deck today, which is pretty cool for the first time.
Got
Thanks
the
to
skyline in
Tanner.
the background.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So Philly.
This is the heart of Philly right here.
But no, in all seriousness, I will say this. I love making time for this. I love making time for you guys. I love doing this. Even though I work for WIP, this is my way of expressing really how I feel in the form that I want to be able to.
Uncensored content.
And this is just not my baby. This was just Chris's baby. This is our baby. This is something that we all created together. And you know what? I'm grateful, and I couldn't have honestly imagined doing this without you guys.
And we don't even have to pay child support.
Wow, Jesus!
It's been a and of course, here's to 100 more. Hopefully, we're able to get there down the road. But let's go with the Eagles. I know preseason predictions, because I'm always going to refer to the preseason predictions, because I bought into the hype of week one. I bought into it. I'm sorry I did. And I figured, you know what? It would be a close battle, but the Eagles would be able to pull it out in the end. Unfortunately, they were unable to do so, as the San Francisco 49ers really kept the Eagles offense in check all day long. And Jalen Hurts, he's, obviously every quarterback in every city takes fire. But
Absolutely.
This week, I feel like there's been more people coming in his defense whenever somebody or something tries to interfere with, his, how he played and says any kind of criticism towards him. So taking a step back about this past week, obviously a lot of hype around it, ton of fans back in the stands. A sea of red, by the way, which I was surprised about. There was a decent amount of 49ers fans, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was a shocker to me.
When you look at this game overall, we'll give our thoughts, but for you first, was it, on the offensive side of the ball that you really look at miscues? Defensively, I thought they played well. They obviously lost Brandon Graham, which we'll mention and get into that as well. But where does it start?
So, it does start with the offensive end of the ball. There were a whole lot of offensive miscues. I felt like they left opportunities on the field that they could have capitalized on. We talk about, first off, the most notorious one, the fourth down call, which I guess you can call that the silly silly special, because that's exactly what it was. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Everybody and their mother seen it coming. Even Stevie Wonder seen that coming.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I saw it, because
what a take.
Here's the thing. Greg Ward is not one of their receivers that they throw to. Their main receivers was Jalen Reagor, Devontae Smith, and Quez Watkins. As soon as I seen Greg Ward in the field, I immediately started thinking, oh, okay, y'all trying to do something sneaky. But if I seen that as a fan, I know the 49ers, and they obviously did. But once again, going back to what I was saying, there was a lot of offensive miscues in this game, and it was disappointing, because this is a game that I feel like they could have won. I do feel like Jalen Hurts, as he's taken a mixed bag of criticism, but I do feel like he left plays out there. But ultimately, the way the play calling went, I feel like this really falls on Nick Sirianni, because what now the game plan going in, and I did say that they needed to go deep, and they did, but I didn't say to go deep every damn play. No, you still got to work that middle of the field. Those guys were playing you guys man coverage, so you still got to kind of mix it up a little bit. You can't just go deep every single play and take advantage of their cornerbacks. I mean, you can, but that's not how the NFL works. They're going to be keen to that, and and there's a couple other miscues. Jalen Reagor not knowing where he's at on the boundary and taking a step out of bounds, and so the touchdown doesn't count. Those things, they're going to clean up because, once again, I said this from the very beginning of the season, and I'm not frustrated by this loss because this is a young team. I expected losses like this. They're going to lose like this. So for me, it's all a part of the growing process, to be honest with you. And, you're going to take losses like this, but I feel like this team is still in a good place. I still feel like they're going to win like 8-9 games. Is this game going to hurt? Hell yes, because this is one of the games you could have took, and you got a hell of a schedule going up ahead of you. But, I'm not overly disappointed in this loss. I'm not.
Yeah, that's fair. And Max, you bring up a sea of red at the Eagles game, and I was sitting near at least 6 49ers fans.
Sorry to hear
that. Chit chat back and forth, a little trash talk here and there. But I'm more so one to wait till after the game's over because I don't want to have to do the walk of shame while these guys are throwing popcorn at me and all this stuff, which they shouldn't because they should know where they are.
Yeah, this is the wrong place to do it.
But yeah, T, I'm with you. I wanted to see Jalen Hurts' arm more in this game, and unfortunately, questions are now raised again on Jalen Hurts' arm strength.
I feel like his arm strength shouldn't be too questioned because I do feel like some of those deep bombs he was throwing into
underthrown though.
But he was also throwing into double coverage. No, he's also throwing too late. That's an issue that he's going to have to work out. I do feel like, there was a couple balls that was underthrown, but if he would have threw it a little bit, like maybe 1 or 2 seconds quicker, those could have been big completions.
Definitely. And listen, I'm on the side of Jalen Hurts. I think he, can fix those problems. No problem.
Absolutely.
But it's the play calling as well. There's a few head scratching play calls.
Yes.
Why not QB sneak at the 1 yard line? And then later QB sneak at the half yard line and say you only QB sneak at the half yard.
But there's also another argument that I want to bring up that a lot of the callers on WIP have brought up, and something that I have a true issue with. They start 3 running backs so far through the past 2 weeks.
Right.
And in Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, and Kenny Gainwell. None of them are big backs.
Not a lot of Boston Scott, though.
Right. You're not playing Boston Scott at all. So why the hell are you activating him? If anything, for those short yardage situations where you're at 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, and you want to run the football, that's where Jordan Howard comes into play. He should not be on the practice squad. He really should be the one out there. Boston Scott, if you want to save him for maybe if Kenny goes down or if Miles goes down, no, knock on wood, then fine. You can keep him on the practice squad. But, dude, Jordan Howard needs to be activated for the games. Yeah. Seriously.
And T, I asked this on the Bird's Nest with Max yesterday, but is Jalen Hurts a run-first quarterback, or do you think it's just he knows when to run and when to pass?
I think at this point, if you would have asked me this last year, he's a run-first quarterback. But this year, he was really running for his life because I feel like that 49ers defense, that defensive line, they came after him. They really did. Now, Jordan Mailata did a fantastic job up against Joey Bosa. But for the rest of the line, especially when Brandon Brooks went down, I feel like Jalen Hurts was running for his life. And then I guess the wide receivers couldn't get, I guess I kind of went back and looked at the tape. The wide receivers really didn't get that much separation in man-to-man coverage. So when a defense's back is turned to you as a running quarterback and there's no spy against you, you take advantage of that instead of you having to thread a needle throw and possibly throw an interception. Because this is still a pretty decent 49ers defense at the end of the day. So he's not a run-first quarterback. He does go through his reads, but I feel like he just took advantage of the defense of what was given to him.
I want to add in some dry humor here. When we first came upstairs, it was hot as a sack up here. And the sun has gone behind the clouds. This is great. It feels amazing. So now I feel I'm back in my comfort zone a little bit. I can kind of free flow and talk. But I want to ask Tanner this question because he's been a Jalen Hurts supporter for the most part since, he entered. I'm not going to say entered the league, but really entered the starting as a starting quarterback. And what do you have to say to those people that are really going to question Hurts and his ability after this first game or second game? Because he wasn't efficient, right? You look at the completion percentage, it was around 50%, not good. Short on throws, really looking for the deep ball. Again, you're right that some of that's on play calling, but really wasn't, I guess, looking for those intermediate routes, those quick slants and things like that. So what do you say to those people that are questioning him?
I say shut the hell up. Just relax. It's week 2. It was against the 49ers defense. Would you rather have Carson Wentz with 2 sprained ankles right now under center? No, I don't think so. So
and I just want two. How do you sprain your damn ankles? Both of them in the same play.
That's amazing to me. Oh my God, that was
Carson Wentz.
That's incredible.
Carson Wentz.
Jeez.
Relax. Jalen Hurts, young quarterback. This is only that was only his fifth or sixth start.
Yeah.
And it takes time. You have guys that have been in the league for 2 seasons still making mistakes. And I think Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback, a good NFL quarterback. He's strong. And I bring this up all the time because he just is strong. He's a strong quarterback.
Absolutely.
He's kind of built like Cam Newton. Now he's not as tall, obviously.
Right.
But going back to the quarterback sneaks, I have full confidence if Jalen Hurts sneaks it. Unlike if Wentz sneaks it, you have to worry about, is he getting injured? Is he fumbling it? Now, of course, Jalen Hurts did lose the ball once, but that's that.
He got whopped on that play.
Yeah. Joey Bosa came in against both, which, by the way, that was a stupid strategy, sending tight ends to block Joey Bosa. That's stupid strategy right there.
Yeah, but I say to those people, relax. I don't want to see anyone on Twitter asking for Joe Flacco to come in.
No.
I saw that already, and it was disgusting.
Anybody ask for
those
Gardner
people need to
Minshew?
sign out of their account and throw their phone off the roof deck that we're on right now. And yeah, Max, I'm saying just stay pat. All right. The Eagles have the Cowboys up next, which is going to be huge
Monday night
for
game.
these new guys. Coach Sirianni. You have to wait. You have to give it a little more cushion.
Not only that, but like, this is a young team. Everybody is young at these prime positions. Like, it's gonna take time for these guys to grow. Jalen Reagor's finally getting, he's finally being taught how to be a right receiver from a coach who's willing to teach him. Remember, I don't remember anybody under Doug Peterson, getting drafted and growing into a Pro Bowl player outside of Wentz. So listen, he finally is under a coaching staff that's willing to teach him. All these guys just need patience. They're young. They're going to develop. Just give them some time.
Let me ask you a question where this game was lost at, because you can break it down to X's and O's. Did they run the ball enough? Did they not run the ball enough? Did they try too many deep passes? Did they just not connect on enough? Did they play a solid enough defense? Did they let, 1 or 2 drives go long? Of course they did. But where was this game? Was it one drive by the Niners that they put together there? I think, what was it, the third quarter? Or was it just, is there something more complete that I'm missing?
Those 90-plus yard drives, I think, is what killed the momentum. And, here's where I'm going to attack the defense a little bit. Because at the end of the day, look, this is the second week in a row now where, I'm sorry, and I'm going to say this, and this is the first time I'm going to say this, but Fletcher Cox as a leader, like, you have to step up. And then, especially when, one of your other leaders, Brandon Graham, goes down, you've got to step up. I don't care if you're getting double teamed. All right, Aaron Donald gets double teamed every week, and he still finds a way to make an impact somehow or some way. Even if he don't make an impact in the stats, you'll see him on film disrupting plays. I don't see that out of Fletcher Cox. All right, I see that out of Javon Hargrove, but that's it. Anybody else on the defensive line outside of Josh Sweat?
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. For me, Fletcher Cox needs to step up and play better, especially in week 1. I said that, but for you, team mentions the 90-plus yard drives. Is that where the game was lost for you as well, Tanner?
The game was lost for me specifically when Jimmy G marched up the field with under 2 minutes left before the halftime and found a wide open receiver in the end zone. Like I said on the Bird's Nest, momentum lost, energy lost going into halftime. The crowd was quiet when the Eagles came back on the field to play.
Yep.
And when a home team goes to the Link, it's same with Temple. They're looking for those fans to really be wilding, and it needs to be loud in there. And that's just not what happened at some points of the game. We were trying to get people to stand up, get loud on third downs. And that, for me, is where the energy really was taken away.
Wow.
I agree with you. I think for me, and again, both of you guys, I think part of that is definitely the reason for the loss. But for me, not scoring a single point on that after that 91-yard catch by Quez Watkins,
that's pitiful.
and they tried to Philly. I mean, that kind of killed momentum.
Silly.
You got to get points.
You're all the way in the red zone and you get no points. Like, come on.
You can't do that.
And Elliott's blocked field goal as well was tough.
And of course, Dallas Goedert could have changed the game if he picks that up and gets a first down. I know it was close, but nothing. T. They got nothing over there. And we're talking about zone defense and offense for the Eagles that really need to improve.
Was it a boring game? If you're standing back from a fan's perspective and you watch football for the first time, you say that you're not plugging on the TV and you're going back and showing people this game, right? As you're trying to cheer on the Eagles or show them how fun the Eagles are, right?
You guys have attacked me for saying that defensive games are entertaining. This wasn't a defensive game. This was just a game of two teams that didn't execute. So no, it was not entertaining, not in the slightest.
Well, if we compare it against the Ravens and Chiefs game,
That's
yeah,
entertaining.
Boring game.
That was entertaining.
Yeah, just a few chunk plays, Max. Lackluster at most points.
Deebo Samuel played pretty well for
Very
the
well.
49ers.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, a lot of intermediate routes. The run game. Now listen, what is going on with these San Fran running backs? You lose Mostert week 1. Now it looks like JaMychal Hasty's going to be out with a high ankle sprain for multiple weeks. Mitchell got hurt. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Elijah Mitchell got hurt in the game. Bum shoulder. He was able to come back, but still, I mean, this is just Jeff Wilson still on IR because he had off-season knee surgery. The rushing attack, was relatively decent, and it normally is with a Kyle Shanahan offense. But I mean, these running backs in San Fran just seem to drop like flies. Trey Sermon with a concussion, and that's something where did we get a penalty on that play? Because I think that's nonsense.
We did get a penalty on the play. That was the Kayvon Wallace play.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
That's
terrible.
It's a rule. Yes, but I think that's a terrible rule because
it's open field.
As a defensive player, if the offensive player is lowering the crown of his head, what am I supposed to do? My job is to tackle him and to make the tackle and to prevent him from going any further. Not only that, he's bringing the crown of his head down. Now I'm in trouble because now I'm going to be bulldozed over. What am I supposed to do as a defensive player?
Every time a play like that is called against the Eagles, I flash back to 2 years ago when Miles Sanders' head was nearly ripped off and how that wasn't called. I remember think that of play. That, how his head almost fully around like an owl. It was crazy. A face mask.
If you came into this game and said, you'll hold George Kittle 4 catches, 17 yards as their number one threat on offense, and you hold him to 17 points overall. Beforehand, I'm thinking, okay, great. We got to
win
to get a win this game.
That's
but offensively, it just the flow just was not there. And I want to mention my point about this. I guess the main thing I want to say is the rushing attack just was not there, not up to par, not what I wanted to see from the Eagles this week. I think the deep ball was there a few times. We saw the catch with Reagor, unfortunately, out of bounds. Like he stepped out of bounds, unfortunate.
Illegal touching. Of
course. And then you had Quez Watkins, a solid play down the sideline. But I really thought what made the Eagles so tough to stop in week 1 was the screen passes to the running backs. I thought getting them involved, not only rushing just up the gut, power plays, halfback dives right up the gut, but getting them to the outside, quick screens. How many times did we see that? Back in week 1, we saw a couple
of lot of RPO.
Screens. Exactly. And a lot of like those quick dishes out to Quez Watkins in the flat or Miles Sanders or Kenny Gainwell in the flat. And I think they just didn't get. Now, listen, Sanders got about 13 carries. Gainwell got 6 carries. I mean, you like that combination. At least I do. But I would like to see them when the receivers, especially Smith, getting locked up. Now, listen, did he get locked up? No. Whatever. I don't think he did. Whatever verbiage you want to use. Josh Norman's holding them all game long with the pass interference calls and all. But
which, by the way, that was a weak call too. Yeah, I will say that.
For some reason, we just couldn't get Devontae Smith the ball. I don't understand why, but because he's such a dynamic player, you got to get him more involved.
Yeah, I actually have a kind of a non-football IQ type of question, but do you think Devontae Smith plays too close to the sideline, and he is smaller than the cornerbacks? They just easily push him out of bounds. He can't touch the ball after that.
Well, the thing of it is the offensive scheme wasn't really going towards Devontae Smith like that. Right. To be honest with you, they were really just trying to bomb it to whoever the hell was down there. And the reality is, and we can kind of start getting into, what the strategy should be going up against the Cowboys. Look, you can't go against the Cowboys and thinking that you're going to bomb them. You're not. They play too deep safety. You need to go back to what you did against the Atlanta Falcons, and that was work the middle of the field, work the intermediate routes. Not just that, not just the tempo, but in terms of the play calling, work the middle of the field. That's what was incredible about that Atlanta Falcons game. They kept you on your toes. They didn't know. They kept the defense on their toes. You didn't know exactly what the Philadelphia Eagles were going to do in terms of route running. You got to go back to that. You can't go in dimension.
Do you think that the 49ers still would have won if Trey Lance was in under center?
Yeah, I do think so.
Yeah, because I don't put a lot of the credit on this win on Jimmy G.
No, it wasn't Jimmy G. It was really just the Eagles really not taking advantage of
The Eagles beat
opportunities.
themselves more than the 49ers beat
They
the
did.
Eagles.
I agree with that statement. I really do. And I just now looking ahead to this week, you have a Dallas team that is coming off a really high win, field goal over the Los Angeles
I
Chargers.
want me some glory hole.
And there you go. Jerry Jones is perfect. T. Now we're going down Jerry World in Dallas, Arlington, Texas. And I think one of the things you really need to see from this Eagles team, obviously, besides getting the running backs more involved, you're playing against a much weaker defense. So I expect the rushing attack to be better, between the tackles. But, what about some keys to victory? What the Birds got to do? I mean, offensively, we need to see some improvement. Now we can go into the X's and O's with that. And then defensively, I'm surprised how well this team has played so far, especially in the trenches.
Well, you say you're impressed.
I am impressed. I think, listen, Hargrave's been very solid. You lose Brandon Graham, but I think the pass rush has been okay, not great. It can be better.
That's one of my
coverage, though, I think is what I really prefer to. I think it's been better.
Coverage actually has irritated me.
Really?
Because I don't know if it's just me, but why are they playing so much off-ball coverage? And I also see some shades of Jim Sports in this 49ers game where we had him at 3rd and 9 or, 3rd and long, and they played the sticks defense. And y'all know that's something that I'm notorious for hating.
There's a couple of plays I would like to have back. They got Debo got involved in the open field, kind of came under those, in the intermediate routes in the middle of the field. So there's a couple of times we lost them. And then you had like Jawan Jennings, the first NFL catch. That was just a complete breakdown there. But overall, I think from last year when there's been times, and I guess maybe it's just I'm biased because I just saw Jaquette get burned all last year, but I feel like this year it hasn't really been hot. Like the secondary with Slay, Nelson, that kind of group back there. Harris had a bad penalty in the end zone yesterday, but that group of guys hasn't really been highlighted that much.
I will say this: the secondary, I feel like they are, a whole lot more soundly better. I will say that, and I do like the combination of Nelson and Slay. And Anthony Harris has been a really good pickup in my opinion, outside of that penalty. To be honest with you, now I will say this though: Eric Wilson ain't shit. Eric Wilson is useless.
He's a hype guy though. He's really energetic out there.
I don't care about hype. I care about tackles, and he missed too many. He's missed way too many of them. I'm sorry. This organization pisses me off when it comes to undervaluing the linebacking position. And you cannot continue to do that.
But Alex Singleton,
he's an average player, and you can only expect so much out of him. Like he's missed tackles. The 49ers game was not his best game. It really wasn't, and he's still a liability in coverage. I feel like.
You think he's a liability in coverage center?
I don't know. I think Alex Singleton's really stepping up these past couple of years, T. I think I don't know. The expectations weren't high for Alex Singleton, but he's a captain now and he makes plays. There's not a game yet. I mean, there's only been 2 games where I circled Alex Singleton and blamed him for something.
Who's the MVP of the team so far through 2 weeks?
Oh man, you can't even answer that, right? Yeah, it's got to be Hurts right now. But it's
week 2.
I'll tell you who the MVP is for me of this team. Javon Hargrave.
Yeah,
that dude has been an unstoppable force in the middle. I mean, he's been better than Fletcher Cox, and this is a guy last year got a big contract, didn't live up to it last year. I mean, injuries, blah blah blah. We get it, but he's been he one-on-one. Forget it.
More sacks
one-on-one
than he had last season.
I mean,
already,
it's
right?
crazy.
The Gravedigger is getting the job,
and he can. The thing is the speed too, going to the sidelines when he needs to get there for those runs on the outside of the tackles. It's been impressive as hell for me to watch him so far. He's been the MVP. And I know Hurts because he's got the ball in his hands. You guys want to say that, understandable, but after the first 2 weeks, especially Hurts didn't have his best game. It's got to be Hargrave for me.
That's not a that's really easy for you to say, and you know what? I can't argue with that honestly, because Javon Hargrave has been a hell of a beast. The Gravedigger, as he's nicknamed, he's been living up to his name because he's been digging some graves for some quarterbacks and some running backs back.
And he's gonna have to do more of that.
Oh yeah, with the Brandon Graham. Oh my gosh, Brandon Graham going down. A lot of guys are gonna have to step up. One of them, including one of the most boneheaded players I think I have ever come across in my life.
Here we go.
Derek Barnett ain't shit. All right, I'm gonna say this right now. Derek Barnett ain't shit.
Let me ask you a question, Tate, because some of the audience.
Derek Barnett is about as useless as the G in lasagna.
Well, okay,
Wow.
all right.
Silent.
Let me ask you this. All right, when people are going to look at this team now, because maybe they don't know all the X's and O's, all the depth on this team, who should they be looking out for on the defensive? I mean, I know some people know Barnett obviously and Josh Sweat, but who else is going to need to be a part of who do we expect to see on the field maybe more often than not now?
Ryan Kerrigan, and you haven't seen a flash of him, even though he's been playing a whole lot.
He's going to play the end and play edge rusher.
He doesn't have a choice. That's where he
had
plays.
to check to see if he was still on the team the other day.
That's saying something. Like, he has not showed up at all in the run game, in the pass game. Like, I need him to be the Ryan Kerrigan. That used to be a pain in our asses for years. I need that Ryan Kerrigan now.
I want to say two things here before we transition. Well, first one being, I'm sorry to say this, and I know I might get a lot of backlash for this, but I think Brandon Graham's career is over. I think, and it was a hell of a career for him. But edge rushers,
a lot of money
with an Achilles injury, there's no way he comes back, especially at his age. I mean, mathematically speaking, it's just not going to work out.
Well, it's more about mindset too, and he's got a great mindset.
I know
already.
he does, and I love him. I think he's a great guy on and off the field, a great player. But at his age, on the downside of 30 now, Achilles for an edge rusher. I mean, you got to push off of that. How's that? The rehab.
For me, I won't say his career ending, but I will say his career is probably going to end for the Eagles, because I don't see a scenario where they bring him back. And it's like you said, I played defensive lineman in high school, and when I injured my ankle, it was weird for me to come back, because once again, you had to push off of that ankle, like you were describing.
Yeah,
very accurately.
Mentally trusted.
Mentally trust. Oh my gosh, the mentality of it. Yeah. That's where the hurdle is.
I disagree. I think Graham is going to be an Eagle his entire career.
How many years does he have left then? Because I don't expect him
He's just got this one year left.
Okay, so you're saying he's going to rehab, come back, and then play out 2022. Okay, fair enough. I hope he retires an Eagle. I love the game.
I want him to retire an Eagle. Trust me,
believe me on that one.
Last thing I want to mention about the Birds, we didn't mention Brandon Brooks, but I mentioned week 1 we came out very healthy, except for I think Marcus Epps, and this week we didn't. It's 2 key veteran pieces. Brandon Brooks probably going to go on IR with the pec strain. How much of a burden is that going to be now that there's going to be guys like Brett Toth is probably going to step in here? Who's going to take a spot?
Who took a spot against the 49ers? Who did we draft in the second round? No.
Steven Wisniewski.
He was retired.
Jason Peters.
Who did we draft? Shut up.
Jason Peters.
Shut up. Shut the hell up. Matter of fact, give me a microphone. Who did we draft in the second round?
Landon Dickerson.
That's who stepped up for the 49ers. That's
is he active?
Playing? Yeah, he was active.
He stepped up and he played right guard.
He had his overalls under his jersey.
Here you go.
Very interesting. All right, we'll see. I think luckily Lane Johnson's been healthy and Mailata's been doing.
Knock on wood.
No Brooks, no Graham, no Ertz.
What happened with Ertz?
Ertz is on the COVID list.
Yeah, Ertz got on the COVID, but he's vaccinated, so he may be able to play
because it is a Monday game.
Yes.
Just going into our predictions before the season started, Max and I are at 100%. With records right now 1-1.
Forget what I said about on the WHIP and on this. I like to stick with my preseason. I got on the hype train. I picked the Niners, but realistically, I'm 100% exactly right, Tanner, in the book.
T actually had a win also, or he had a loss as well for the 49ers. So all 3 of us had that loss. Max and I at 100% record wise, and T is the only one with a win for the Dallas matchup. So let's hope T's right this time, Max.
So we both of us
have a loss for this upcoming game. We have the Eagles at 1-2 after the Dallas game.
I picked them to win the home matchup, I believe, later in the season. If not, I know I haven't. I know I haven't won a good amount down the stretch, but it's rough. You got to play Tampa Bay coming up, the Chiefs. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy.
But you know what, though, boys? You know what? And I'm going to stick to my prediction because I feel like this team, they know they messed up on Sunday, and I do feel like these guys are young, these guys are hungry, and these guys want to go out there and prove something. And listen, I'm not saying that the Cowboys are weak, because trust me, they're not. God, I hate saying that. They're not weak at all.
How about Tony Pollard? Shout out Tony Pollard.
But man, the Cowboys can score on offense, but you can attack them defensively. And this is where the offense, once again, this is one of those games where the offense is going to have to step up. Do I think the defense can hold the Cowboys a little bit? Yes, because I do feel like Dak Prescott doesn't have the speed that he used to. So if you can force him out of that pocket and force him to run, that's where you can get Dak Prescott and, get him to make some mistakes.
What do you say about the fans that might mention the fact that the Cowboys defense just held a very high power Chargers offense to 17 points on the road? Well, I know it was a lot of Cowboys fans, but technically traveling out there, LA, I mean, they only gave up 17 points, and the Chargers offense with Eckler, with Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert, I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Oh, it was very impressive. And Micah Parsons as an edge linebacker, as an edge rusher. That was
Travion Diggs.
Man, that was impressive. I'm not even gonna lie. Like that was really cool to see.
Can they do it back to back?
That's the thing. That's the key because there was no tape on it. Now there's tape on it. So can the Eagles find a weakness in that tape? Can they take advantage of Micah Parsons? Yes, you can. The reason being, Micah Parsons played middle linebacker that first week, and they what did the Cowboys play the first week?
In week 1?
Yes.
They played the
Bucks.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took advantage of that by playing a lot of play action, and Tom Brady would throw that ball right over the top of his head. He reacts to what he sees. So you want to go back to the RPO and the zone reads, you do it on his side. Force the offense to go wherever he wants it to go.
Here's my last thought on the Cowboys before I give it to you, Tanner. The thing that scares me about the Cowboys through 2 weeks, number one, their defense looked pretty okay. Nah, it's a terrible phrase, but they look pretty okay. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. They look pretty decent, okay, against the Chargers. Their O-line is healthy now with Tyron Smith and Martin. They're back in the middle. Tony Pollard, they get 13 rushes for 109 yards, even though because at week 1, it's like, okay, Zeke doesn't look like the same guy. The rushing attack won't be that good.
Said that.
Dak Prescott doesn't throw a single touchdown pass in this game. He throws 1 interception, 273 yards, and the Cowboys still win the football game. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, but here's the scary part. Mike McCarthy almost screwed them over with that time management towards the end.
Amari Cooper gets a rib injury, they still get the job done. Michael Gallup is out of the lineup, they still get the job done. I mean, it's like all these things pointing in the wrong direction for the Cowboys this past weekend, and they still come out of this with a gritty win.
But here's the difference between an experienced team and a young team. Notice how the Eagles didn't get the job done, even though they had opportunities to get the job done. But the Cowboys got the job done regardless of their coach, regardless of the injuries. That's because the Cowboys are an experienced football team. However, the Eagles cannot put themselves into a hole against the Cowboys because they're not going to be able to come back.
I'm nervous. Now, listen, there's a reason Tanner and I predicted a loss, but looking at now in the present moment, I'm nervous about the Cowboys going forward and this game coming up because they just had so many things pointing against them, and they still were able to beat a tough Charger team flying out to LA. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the game ended on a 56-yard field goal.
I know, but you don't expect. I mean, if you told me before, again, this is all going back to before you told me Dak Prescott throws for 273, no touchdowns and a pick. You tell me Tony Pollard all of a sudden looks like it's a tandem in the backfield. You tell me Amari Cooper gets hurt during the game, 3 catches, he only has 26 yards. Yeah, I'm saying, okay, wow, the Chargers win that game by double digits, and they don't.
Yeah. Well, the Dak Prescott, damn near 90 passing attempts in just 2 weeks.
Yeah, crazy.
Because they're putting the ball in his hands because
they
the
have
running
a lot
game
of
doesn't
weapons,
work.
though.
Zeke is not the same guy.
Tony Pollard might be better.
I'll tell you why.
At this point, yes.
He might be, but
I'll tell you how
he's
we
not making
know
the money.
Zeke isn't the same guy. You compare him exactly to Miles Sanders. Zeke has, Miles Sanders has 1 more carry than Zeke and 25 more yards rushing.
When's the last time you've been able to compare that?
Yeah.
Zeke should be top 3, top 2, usually number 1. I'm telling you, Zeke is not the same player like he used to. He's tired. And see, they handicapped themselves. The Cowboys handicapped themselves, giving Ezekiel Elliott all that money, and it's going to bite them in the long run.
Remember how we were excited as Eagles fans with how we were like, no way the Eagles are going to be able to bring back Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott, and Zeke Elliott, and all 3 of them are still here. And
yeah,
it's crazy. And the key to the game for me is you have to feed Booby. You have to feed Miles Sanders. And that's the key to success is if Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell are eating, the Eagles are going to win.
Yeah, honestly. But not only that, but Jalen Hurts still has to be Jalen Hurts. He still has to be a quarterback. He still has to throw that ball. And listen, and these receivers are going to have to get open. That's the main thing. And the Cowboys do like to mix up their coverages. But when you can't catch them slipping in man-to-man coverage. Run some crossing routes over the middle. You can take advantage of them. When they run zone, you drop in those zones. Let Jalen Hurts find you in those zones. But listen, they've got to be efficient against this Cowboys defense. You can beat this Cowboys team. You can beat this Cowboys defense. But you must be efficient, and you cannot, as Nick Sirianni, play calling, you've got to be on point against the Cowboys. No excuses after last week.
I agree.
Score predictions.
Well, I had the Cowboys winning. Technically, because I had to keep rolling with my my predictions preseason too. Just saying.
Right.
So I will say the Cowboys are going to put up points in this one. I'm going to say the Cowboys will score 25 points, and I'll say
weird
the
number.
Eagles. Yeah, I know it's a weird number, and I'll say the Eagles score 23 points. 25-23 Cowboys. I'm not going to say how about them Cowboys because I get
You better not.
Please don't.
I'll toss you
You
off
did
this
that
roof
last
right
time.
now. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I'll don't do that.
I'm gonna go with 17-13, and I have to stick with the preseason projection that the Cowboys are gonna win.
What was your score?
17-13.
17-13. Okay.
I'm gonna stick with
13 points. That's all the Birds are getting.
Hey man,
All right.
I'm gonna stick with my preseason prediction. I'm going to say it's going to be entertaining. I think 30-23.
okay.
30-23. All right. I like it. So somebody's going to score 23 points and some T and I say, okay, I like it. All right.
I want me some glory hole.
We'll see what happens. We'll be here for you with you guys next Tuesday afternoon after a big time Monday night primetime matchup in
Yeah.
Arlington, Texas. It's an 8:15 kickoff. So
I mean, yeah.
it's gonna be fun. It just feels good that football's back.
It
In the
does.
week 3. Just
College football,
it's been
everything.
great.
Oh, we're
Sundays.
gonna be here right after that Eagles game, the day after. And you know what, Max? Come on, bring up the Phillies.
Oh
Do it.
God.
Do you
Do it real
T,
quick.
do you want me to do it?
Real
Should I
quick.
bring it up to Phil's?
Y'all
You
can
know
do
what?
whatever the hell you want.
I'm a victim of circumstance right now because before we had this show, of course, now the Phillies are losing again. But ladies and gentlemen, during that break we had, I'm telling you, silence in the group chat from both T and Max. It was silence. I said, watch out. Let's first determine how the Braves play against the Rockies. The Braves would have got swept if that game didn't get postponed, that third game. And then the Phillies take care of business against the Mets. Okay, they lose one game. You can't expect to sweep. It's a division game. Okay, they drop it to the Orioles. You can't expect them.
I was just about to say. I was just about to say.
As soon as
You was quiet as hell. You was quiet as hell last
the
night.
Boo Birds over here, Tyre Hood. When the Phillies lose, he comes out of his cave and he brags about how they're only 2 games behind.
3.
Relax, okay?
You
Relax.
you
can't
still
expect-
quiet though.
You can't expect them to win 13 games in a row. Okay, let's take it easy.
I don't expect them to win 13 games in a row, but I do expect them to win series, plural, against these bad teams in this stretch that we all said that was going to be a positive for the
They didn't
Phillies.
lose the
That I
series
do
against the
expect.
Orioles yet. Hey,
If you take into account every single MLB team this year, T, and now listen, take the not a casual fan. I'm talking about a fan that watches about 150 of these games for every team in Major League Baseball. I can almost guarantee you the Phillies fan in that group of 30 will tell you that the Phillies are the most inconsistent team of the 2021 season.
you can't disagree against that.
No.
You can't. How do you lose these games? 3 out of 4 to the Rockies they lost. 3 out of 4 to the Diamondbacks they lost. They lose this one. They get 2 stinking
Well,
hits.
It's all right.
against
I
the
got
Orioles.
I got my seatbelt on. I know. It's
Are you
bumpy
kidding
road.
me?
It's just
The Rocky
so
Road, shall I say.
agonizing. It would be so much easier of a season if they just
That's a
get
good point.
torched by these tough teams and they just beat up on these crappy teams. But it's the opposite. Sometimes they do really well
They
against these
beat
good
up on
teams.
good teams and they
And then
lose against crappy.
It's just
Yeah.
unimaginable how this season is going.
But that's
unimaginable.
But that's the thing, though. Like, on paper, the Phillies should be one of the top teams in the National League.
How do you get 2 hits
Nah,
against the
eh,
Orioles? How do you get 2 hits?
I wouldn't say that. T. I wouldn't say on paper they should be a top team. I wouldn't say that. This
When-
team's facing a lot.
When healthy, these are some of the best bats in baseball.
Who do you mean? JT and Bryce Harper.
You're talking right. You guys pipe up.
That's 2 players.
You're talking about your all right. So what he's
I'm
saying.
talking
I
about
understand what
overall lineup. If
he's talking
everybody
about
plays their averages,
Reese
how they're supposed
Hoskins, Reese Hoskins,
Didi Gregorius.
Alec Bohm.
Right.
He
If
was like
McCutcheon turns the clock back 10 years. Yes.
Right. No, shut up. Not 10 years.
he got him.
Shut up. But y'all understand my point, though. Like, this team still should be a whole lot farther than they are. We shouldn't be.
No,
Oh
Reese
my
Hoskins.
God, we're 3 games behind the Braves in the division. No, we shouldn't. No, we should be 1 or
The
2
Braves
games
are a
ahead of
better
them.
team, T.
But I'm saying we should be 1 or 2 games ahead of them.
I agree with you. See, I agree with you. If we were capable of that, I agree. If we played fundamental baseball, fundamentally sound baseball, if Alec Bohm wasn't a jackass and just all of a sudden can't hit a baseball properly and can't field or throw, if Didi Gregorius wasn't hitting 150 against left-handed pitching, I mean, if Zach Eflin was stayed healthy, maybe the rotate, you wouldn't have to throw a bullpen game anymore. You know,
Is any of this Girardi's fault?
But
recently?
Recently, no.
I don't think now, and that's a good point that you bring up because a lot of people will throw it in Joe Girardi's face. But when you have guys who are like Freddie Galvis of the world, who
Right.
I like Freddie Galvis as a player, but then you add in Ronald Torres. When you take a step back, if you look at this preseason, you were like, oh, wow, okay, Ronald Torres is our third baseman, Freddie Galvis is our shortstop. You would be like, wow, this team's going to have a losing record. You know what I mean? And I think we're at one of these points where Torres has played so well for us defensively. Galvis has been solid since he's come over in the trade. Segura, Harper's doing his thing. JT hasn't been great. But as we wind down here on the last homestand of the season, if the Phillies don't make the playoffs in 2021, what's going to be your statement come that first show after the season's over? What's your statement's going to be?
I am a loyal fan.
I told all y'all. So.
I got a tattoo on my back that says Phillies postseason 2021.
Oh, that was a bad mistake.
I don't like that one, Tanner. Here's why I don't like it. Loyal fan.
Well, I don't have to look at it.
You can't just say. Oh, I'm on the bandwagon. I'm riding or dying. Blah blah blah. And then they lose. And
no, it's not a bandwagon. I'm just here.
You can't just say I'm a loyal fan. You gotta at least own up to some of your mistakes for buying into this team when in reality you shouldn't have. And same thing with you.
Why shouldn't I have bought into a team I've been a fan of for 21 years?
If the Phillies make the playoffs, you have to say to yourself, "Wow!" Like,
and you have to wear the fanatic hat.
So I like this because
by the way, everybody at WIP knows that bet now.
I'm just saying.
Look, Max is trying to pretend like he's in the middle and not on one side.
One of you guys is gonna look back at this and be like, "Wow, I'm an idiot," and I'm just gonna sit here and be like, "All right, I'm in the middle of this fence."
I'll just ask you for advice because I know you know how that feels.
Just literally saying a couple of weeks ago, T, I'm with you.
Yep. T, I want to be with you so badly. I do, man. I want to be with you. I really do. But
no, you can't play the damn fence.
Here's the thing.
That's exactly.
Here's the thing,
coward.
I think watching that Orioles game, and getting 2 hits against the Baltimore Orioles really is frustrating. But here's my thing, and Tanner, I've been saying this the whole time: the schedule, and the Orioles Pirates coming up. Here's my other issue that I'm having. I want to bring this up to you guys. The St. Louis Cardinals are scalding hot. They've won 9 straight games. The wild card for a second looked doable because the Padres are skidding. The Reds are mediocre at this point, but the Cardinals have really just stepped on everybody's throats and have taken over that second wild card spot. They're like 5 games ahead of the Phillies now. There's no way we get that second wild card spot.
Max, I can't take anything you say seriously because you're straddling the fence. You can't do that.
I told you. What did I tell you last week? I said I'm ripping my jeans on the fence. That's what I said.
Man, you can't do that. You got to pick a side. Come on, man. You know better than that.
Oh, you mother.
All right.
Well, I just want to say one more thing. When you look back at the box score, you don't even have to watch the game, and you see Vierling has an RBI and Miller RBI, and those four utility guys on the team are the ones with the RBIs. That means that the guys are stepping up. Maybe not all the time like they should be, but we know this team is very inconsistent. That's the Philadelphia inconsistent Phillies.
Correct.
But I still have to say they're making the playoffs because they are so inconsistent.
They
lose to the Orioles right now. They could win 3 series.
So they win a division. They beat the Braves.
Yes.
They get 3 games against the Braves. And how many games are left? Say 16, 15?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Around there.
They're going to make up 3 games against the Braves.
Let me say this right now because let me go back to Joe.
Do you know who the Braves are playing
right now? Still got the Padres.
They're Diamondbacks. They're playing the Diamondbacks, T.
They won't sweep the Diamondbacks.
Let me say this, though, about Joe Girardi real quick, because I do think he gets too much heat for this team. Listen, out of all the major sports, the manager in baseball has to be the most useless guy out there. Like, seriously, it's not like he determines, like, the outcome of a game too much. Now, everybody attacks Girardi for, how, he goes to the bullpen. But let's be honest here. Who the hell in this bullpen is reliable? I'm sorry. You might have a strategy going in, but if the strategy doesn't go through because the player absolutely stinks, what do you expect him to do? I'm sorry. Like, you got to give Joe Girardi a little bit of credit. This bullpen has been the Achilles heel of this Phillies team for the past 3 years. We've discussed this on this very podcast time and time again, over 100 episodes. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous.
I don't know if credit is the right word I would use to explain Joe Girardi and what he's done for this team, but I will say this: when you take a step back and look who's actually playing in the lineup every night, I mean, you got Matt Vierling, right? You got Ronald Torres, who listen, it's been great for us, but he's Ronald Torres. Freddie Galvis, who he's been good for us. Freddie Galvis has been good for us, but listen, he's Freddie Galvis. I mean, your 6 through 9 every night in the lineup is pretty embarrassing. I mean, I would be honest with you. Even Odubel Herrera, who listen, I get what he did off the field, but at this point, I think him coming back was big for this team because it was in a time where they really needed a center fielder. They didn't have one.
They did.
And I'll give him some credit. He's not that he's locked it down and been out of this world, but he's performed at it.
But he's done what he's supposed to.
Exactly.
He's done up to his expectation.
I have a name for you guys.
All right.
You ready for this?
All right.
This is a person that you guys were trashing.
Oh boy.
Gabe Kapler.
You know what?
Who's he the coach
It
for?
wouldn't have worked out for
T,
him.
who's he the coach for?
The San Francisco Giants, who have,
And
if I'm not
have they
mistaken,
clinched?
Yes,
not only did they clinch, but I believe they have the best record in the
97
MLB.
wins. 97 wins.
They're a better team
who?
though. They're a better
With
team.
who though? He's talking about on paper, T. Read this team on paper.
But let's be honest here. But also, Gabe Kapler did the same thing that Joe Girardi is doing in terms of how to manage this team. If anything, Gabe Kapler still got this team above 500. We're barely above
They have
500.
Darren Ruff. They have Darren Ruff, T.
What does that tell you about Gabe Kapler, Tanner? We all made a mistake about Gabe
You can't
Kapler.
make this up. Buster Posey's 80 years old.
We all made that mistake about Gabe Kapler. We all did. We all said he was a scrub. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. He needs to take his ass back to California. All of us said this. Everybody in the Delaware Valley said this.
And he
Now we're
dyed
all
his
eating
beard
crow.
and everything.
Now-
Looking great over
Now
there.
we're all eating crow.
Well,
Well,
not all of us.
let me ask you this question: if Gabe Kapler's managing the Philadelphia Phillies right now, are they in first place?
They're still an inconsistent.
Yeah, they're
They're
still an inconsistent team.
which is why I'm saying it wouldn't have worked out here. You can't really compare San Fran to where we are now. In this
But how do you
division.
know it wouldn't have worked out ultimately?
Max, I like. Who do they have on the team? Okay, they got Crawford.
All right,
like-
here's my thing. Because I'm a baseball guy, and you guys know that.
Right.
Did they pull the plug too soon?
Yes.
No, they didn't pull the plug too soon. Here's
Yes.
why. That team is out there in San Francisco. They might not have household names, but they got guys that are, first of all, depth. You need depth in baseball, right? Bullpen wise, rotation wise. Let me tell you guys this. You have Alex Wood, Johnny Cueto has been great. Anthony
Look,
DeSclafani.
Tanner is giving Max right now.
Anthony DeSclafani. Look at these numbers. You can pull up the numbers. Anthony DeSclafani. You have Kevin Gausman as another guy in that rotation. Logan Webb as well. The rotation is very solid. Now, I'm not going to sit here. I'm saying I'm an expert on their bullpen. I would need some further research to do there. But Mike Yastrzemski, Brandon Belt, Darren Ruff has been very solid. Buster Posey looks like he's back to MVP form. This is
Darren
a
Ruff
team
went 0 for 4 in the last game.
that is all right. Come on, okay, one game. Pull it out of my ass crack of one game. I mean, back on April 13th, Darren Ruff went 1 for 5.
I'm talking yesterday.
All I'm saying is you can't compare it. I don't think you can compare it.
I don't know.
But going forward, it is damn impressive that the Dodgers and the Padres simply couldn't catch the Giants this year. And I know it's still up for grabs with the Dodgers and the Giants, but
Whole damn
Maybe it's
division
that
could make
weather.
the
maybe it's
freaking
the weather.
That's the
thing.
crazy part. That's the crazy part. Because let's be honest here, you can't put the Phillies in the wild card, but you're absolutely correct. That entire division.
The Rockies could make it too.
That's
No,
Man, I was about to say.
You almost got him.
I was about to say. But what? Like, that's not possible. Wait,
So
a minute.
wait. Hold on. Backtrack a little bit because I know the show's gonna run down shortly. But
Yes.
T, you said Phillies did pull the plug too soon on Gabe Kapler.
I do feel like they pulled the plug too early because he came in with something new.
Is that a hot topic? Is that a
See, he was terrible here.
He was-
You want to talk about mediocrity?
He's doing the same damn thing.
would there be some callers
Right over there
on
with San
WIP if
Francisco.
I ask that question right now?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell
Did they
yeah.
pull the plug too early? That's a big topic. I don't think they did because he was here 2 years, and I think they had almost identical records in both years. Nothing changed. And
But
now,
they
listen,
also
No.
front office wise
So-
could be
yeah,
one
yeah.
of the reasons.
Not to mention Gabe Kapler's last season, the team was real different, and they still got the same one game worse,
Yeah.
I believe.
but also the same team this year with Joe Girardi, and it's still the same, just about the same damn record. What does that tell you? You change the manager, ain't nothing changed. Also,
So front office or roster, where does it go next after manager?
you need
office or-
both because roster wise, you have an aging roster, so you need more younger players, which also leads me to upper management, which is something I have fussed about, by the way, week after week on WIP.
Yeah.
The management has done a piss poor job of bringing in guys through the system and them being ready for the MLB. I'm sorry, Mickey Moniak, Alec Bohm. All right, Aaron Nola has his struggles. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but these guys are supposed to be your French. These guys are supposed to be the guys that we're supposed to look forward to at this point. We should have had to go out in free agency and get a bunch of guys like we did. All right. We should have developed guys like we did Jimmy Rollins, like we did Ryan Howard, like we did Chase Sutton, like we did all the other older guys, the old core. But we didn't. We traded those old guys. We traded our assets away.
Right.
Continuously, time and time again. And the assets that are down there in the AAA and the AA, they're not being developed.
The Phillies just need about 5 more wins to get more wins than they have gotten the last 4 seasons.
Will they do it?
I think they will.
I think they will as well.
Max, I believe before the Philly season started, you and I said the Phillies would get around 85 wins.
I believe I did as well.
I don't remember what I
said
said.
I don't know if it's going to get to that 85. We also said Max and I were battling over there on WHIP about how Zach Wheeler was going to step up and prove he's worth his contract.
Oh my God.
I thought he was too. And who was that
You were
ass
right.
clown that was trying to tell me
Right.
wrong?
Yeah. Not to
I mean,
mention.
listen,
You know
I
how
told
Mets
him
fans are.
you know what he tells me, T. Noah Syndergaard's better than
ridiculous.
Zach Wheeler. I'm going, I haven't seen Noah Syndergaard pitch in 2 years. Where the hell is he? He could be on a beach for all I care. And Zach
What?
Wheeler's out here about to win the Cy Young Award. I mean, I don't want to
Right.
hear that nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good call by us.
Yeah.
He's trying to give me Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman, what, 5'8" Marcus Stroman's going to come at me? I'm sick
Bunch of low
It's
lives.
just, it's embarrassing. I hate the Mets. I can't stand the Mets. I know a lot of people, the number one viral with the Celtics and Philly, and they hate the Celtics. I can't stand the New York Mets. Every single player on their team, Jeff McNeil, Brandon Nimmo with his stupid, every time he walks, he runs the first base. Every single one of them, I can't stand them, man. I just cannot stand them. And there's a reason. Look, there's a reason why they collapsed, and they're not going to make the playoffs. There's always some turmoil going on with that organization.
6
It's
games
embarrassing.
back. And
Taijuan
we're
Walker.
talking about on paper.
Taijuan
Look at that
Walker
team on
collapsed
paper.
too. What's he been up to?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear.
So
the
your
Mets.
hate for the Mets is equal to Chris's hate for Max Muncy, basically.
I guess so, man. I just can't stand them. I hate their colors. I hate their field. I hate City Field.
Jeez.
Their stadium is so boring. You ever been to City
You
Field?
piece of Swiss cheese.
Either of you guys ever been to City Field?
I have
was
not.
around it.
It's terrible. It's boring. There's nothing there fun at all.
Is it worse than FedEx Field?
I was just
in
about to say, there's a
Well,
whole lot better than getting sewage dropped on your
I
head.
can't
Washington? I've
compare.
been to
it.
that field twice, and it was garbage. Both
Just
times.
can't stand
At
them.
least you didn't get sewage dropped on you.
That's
Just
true.
remember that.
Well, the Washington football team was playing on the field, so
All right. Well, listen.
that
Let's
was a good one.
let's wrap it up. Let's hope the Eagles drop some sewage on the Cowboys next weekend.
They will.
yes, sir.
I hope
as
so.
everybody would
That doggone it, it's Dallas week.
Go
damn
Birds.
it, damn it, let's stand up for
Go
it.
Birds.
All right, if y'all missed any of this 100th special episode,
100.
go to philly-experience.stupidcast.com. Download the entire episode, available on all major downloadable platforms. From us to y'all, thank you for the support for 100 episodes. Let's do this for 100 more. We love y'all. Seriously.
in the club, with my
What
J's on.
Hey, wait a minute, man. That's freaking trademark. What is wrong with you?
Different voice. He's doing a cover.
What's wrong with y'all? We went over this.
Whoa. Hundo. What's he here for?
Understand what I'm saying to you?
I do.
You dumbass.
Classic.
We know it's hard.
Yeah, I'm fading.
Rap as Vargas. Off the box. Quit yucking my yum.